Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. So the video today, I'm going to just touch on some of the things that we discussed last week regarding the problems with the compost, and just seeing how things are faring a bit. So yeah, we're also going to do a bit of harvesting and things. So let's get straight into the video. So this is the nettle feed. I didn't cover it, I know you're meant to. All I did was plonk a load of nettles in here and then covered them with water. And this has been sitting for about 3 weeks now. It absolutely stinks. And I'm going to dilute it 1 part to nettle feed to 10 parts water. Oh, I'm going to water some plants. Let's go up to the vegetable garden. So right on cue, it's raining again. But all I'm going to do is just give all of my plants a little top up with this and see if it makes any difference. I mean, they don't need any more watering. I'm actually really surprised as to how far it goes. Let's get a bit more in there. And then all the sludgy nettles, I'm going to actually put them on the compost heap. Right. So here's one of the comfrey patches, and I'm going to make some feed with this comfrey as well. So all I'm doing is tearing it up. And I'm going to do exactly the same as what I've done with the nettles, and I'm going to cover this with water and leave it for a few weeks and use this as a feed. But also I'm going to add some of these leaves to the compost heap as well, because it really does benefit it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Can you so just have a look here. I don't know if you can see these mushrooms. I used to always think it was a bad thing to see mushrooms in the garden, but my understanding is different now. So update on last week. So come and have a look at my compost. So have a look down here. This is only about 2 months old, and I turned this a couple of weeks ago, and just look at how quickly that's decomposing. That's doing so well. Let's pull some apart here. Look at it. I mean, it won't be absolutely perfect, but I think in a couple of weeks that's going to be ready to use. It's not ideal, it could be rotted a bit more, but I just feel that the garden really needs it. I've started another one here. John's cutting the lawn as we speak, and I'm just making sure it's sort of spread around in layers. And I'm pretty much composting anything and everything at the moment. I am really getting into this. So a slight update on the plants. Not much has really happened at the moment. This bed down here, obviously there is some growth, and we are getting a little bit of yellow in this bed now, and I know that is now down to the cold and the wet and the lack of sunlight. There's just been virtually no sunlight. It comes out for a short amount of time and then it goes in again. I mean, at the moment it's raining. I can see blue sky over there. It's raining. It's just an awful year. So I'm just trying to make the best of it. So I just want to touch again on what I talked about last week about the yellowing of plants, and that I thought it was the compost. There's been quite a lot of talk about it, and I still don't fully know. I do have my suspicions about the batch of compost that I had. I did actually go back to the garden centre that my husband got it from, and I asked them. They hadn't noticed any difference, and they said they use that particular compost, so it may not be the compost. However, this particular batch, I do think there was an issue with it. Whatever it was, I don't know. Aside from that, like I said, where I've put my own compost into the ground, it has just really perked up. It suffered a little bit in this last week because the temperatures, we almost had a frost last week, and it's been wet and windy and cold. So, you know, it's going to be really difficult for anything to get going. I'm pretty much giving up hope this year of any warm crops, warm loving crops, although the beans are doing, and I don't know if you can see here, but I've got flowers coming on them. These are Jacob's cattle, and they're quite a good bean. I've grown them a number of times before, and they seem to do really well. But other things, the celery's doing okay. The kale, I've got a lovely bit of kale here. This one, this is my healthiest one. Look how lovely this is. At the moment, there's no sign of pest damage at all. Oh my goodness, I can smell the nettle feed. I've got a handful of broad beans coming just here. Interestingly, I don't know what's happened here. The beans are coming, but they're not great. Again, I think there's been a lack of pollinating insects as well. I haven't seen that many bees, I have to say. I've seen a few bumblebees, but not as many as last year, and very few honeybees. So I don't know if that's causing, well, it must be causing a problem. If we come over here, so these are some shallots. They haven't done terribly well. They're okay, but I'm going to harvest them now. The slugs absolutely devoured them. So yeah, they are quite small, but they're not going to put on any more growth, and I've decided it's so wet, I don't want to leave them in the ground anymore. I want to take them out and dry them off and get something else in here. So I'm going to plant some more things in here in the hope that it may do well. I mean, it's a protected bed, and maybe I can put a cover over it or something. So I'm going to put carrots in here next. Actually, the shallots are doing better than I thought, to be honest. Look at that! Did you see it? Have you got it? Wow. That was a buzzard. We've got some tiny baby moorhens, and I think the buzzard's just been for them. Oh, I love the buzzards and I love the moorhens. It's really sad. So the shallots are now out. The onions, I don't know if you can see just here, they're going to seed. Yeah, so the onions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use these onions. I'm not keeping them for storage or anything. I'm just going to pull them up as I need them over the next couple of weeks. And that will be those. The garlic's just in there too. But I'm going to add some compost to this bed now. This is the peat-free compost, not the reduced peat one that I felt I had all the problems with. And I'm going to sow some carrots in here next. And I think what I'm going to do is cover it with some fleece to keep the worst of the weather out. There's a slug. Can you see? And the slugs are still hanging around. I just want to talk about this border. So this was a bit of a rush job, this border. We had a border on this side of the garden, and it was just a bit of a mess, and we just turfed it over and moved all the plants in here. I had no plan. I just literally shoved them in. And it is a bit of a mishmash. We've got some trees just up here. There's, I think someone planted a Christmas tree about 30, 40 years ago, and that's the size of it now, and an ash tree. And even though south is that way, they're still leaning for the light. But we are about to undergo some drainage works. We've got a drainage ditch just behind there. So this is all going to sort of get pushed back anyway. But I just want to show you, I haven't spent any money on this border. That's the thing I'm trying to say. These were plants that were moved from elsewhere in the garden. I've divided them. I've sown some from seed. I'll tell a lie. The alliums I did buy. I did buy more than that, but we lost a few, I think, because of the wet winter and summer. But yeah, we've got various bits and pieces. There's various geraniums. We've got some yarrow in here. This self-seeds everywhere. And whilst it's a little bit of a menace, it's so good as a cut flower. It lasts and lasts in a vase and just looks so good. So I think it's all right. Various foxgloves. Interestingly, I've just noticed here my box bush. Now, I don't know if that's dying or not. I don't know if that's a football that's gone into there. On here, we've got a wild rose here that's, ouch, I'm just debating whether to keep it or not. It's a little bit of a thug, this one, and it's not in the right place. We've got various other ones dotted around the garden. We've got bits and pieces in here. Again, this all I grew from seed. Is this called lychis? I don't know how you pronounce it. But this, I don't really like it that much. However, it is giving some colour at this time of year. And just over here, I love this rose. Look at this gorgeous rose. This was a gift to me a few years ago, a couple of years ago. I just plonked it in the garden and it's so pretty. I did plant a courgette down here and it's not doing very well. Right, let's get to the potatoes. So these potatoes, they're called Charlotte. And so these are called Charlottes. And they were first early. So I thought I'd just have a go. I think one of the chickens has laid an egg. Right. Now all I've topped them up with is grass, and I'll be fascinated to see if it's done anything or not. I mean, they've certainly been wet enough this year. Usually the problem is not enough water. Beautiful egg, beautiful potato. So they could have gone for a bit longer looking at them. But considering I've done nothing, and I had one tiny bit of compost and grass clippings. That's not bad so far. So there we go. That's my first lot of potatoes. Not bad, not brilliant, but not bad considering I've done absolutely nothing to these and all I did was top them up with a bit of grass. So we'll be having those for lunch. So thank you once again for joining me here today. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button down below. It really does help the channel to grow, and also give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and discuss with me in the comments down below. Have you harvested your potatoes yet? Are you making any feeds for your garden? Love to hear what you're up to help boost your garden's growth. And until next time, bye.